Welcome to episode 8 in the Consciousness Awareness series. My name is Candice Sanderson, and I'm glad you joined us. Welcome back. As promised in the last episode, we're going to start building our toolbox for consciousness awareness. We're going to build a dashboard. These are the tools that will help us navigate the 5D world. But before we do that, let's recap the last episode. Using that formula, TEA, thought, energy, action, we practiced breathing through our hearts while smiling to help us. We learned about the two operating systems that help us navigate actually both the 3D and the 5D worlds. One operating system is the energy recognition system. The second one is the emotional guidance system. The names can be confusing, so don't worry about that. One system is our GPS. It guides us in our OBE travels. And just like a GPS system in the 3D, we can drop a pin on a 5D map to help us locate that place again at will. The other system is our quality control. It helps us decide how we fuel the energy for manifesting. If we choose low octane fuel, and that would be fuel coming from the emotions like anger, depression, jealousy, then the manifestations will be quite different than when we choose the higher octane fuel of love, of humor, of compassion. These systems are always operating in the background of both our 3D and 5D lives. We become empowered, however, when we realize that they exist. From that point on, those systems become instrumental in controlling the outcome of our thoughts, that is, the manifestation. By breathing through our hearts, and of course, that simple yet effective add-on of smiling, we ramp up our positive energy. This heartfelt breathing helps us to expand beyond the particle state into a field state. That's our POE, our point of existence. That's how we visualize consciousness in action. We know we've reached that field state when our observer comes on board. In the last episode, we established a place in the 5D, and we even made an open for business sign. Mine is a neon sign in bright pink colors. My place, at least when you enter, is a lot like a coffee shop or a cafe. And as soon as I enter, I go to the window and manually turn on that open for business sign. I can actually see myself as I enter the door. Now, you see, that's an aspect of phasing. You begin to bilocate in the 5D. There's two of you, one that observes, the other that participates. But there's just enough light shining for me to find my way once I enter. I find my way to the window where the sign is. For me, it's in front of a booth, so I have to scoot in the booth and then kind of scooch down till I get to the window. And that's when I find the switch to turn on the sign. When I flip that switch, I actually hear a faint buzzing sound as that neon light flickers to life. Let me say something to those of you who might be new to the OBE world, traveling in this world of energy. I've heard many people, they tell me, they say, I can't visualize. They want to know, how can I see myself in my place if I can't visualize? I say, don't worry, not at all. When I first began my spiritual journey, my OBE journey, I could not visualize whatsoever. If someone told me to close my eyes and visualize the Eiffel Tower, I would see nothing, zilch, zero. But that skill developed on its own later. Now I have these full-blown visions that not only include sight, but all the other senses as well. So much so that my experiences, my OBE experiences in these visions are often more real than 3D. I see colors, for example, that I've never seen in the 3D. And it's the same for all the other senses. Now, let me remind you of that formula, that T formula, TEA, thoughts, energy, action. Your thoughts will manifest into action. The visualization will come along. It's nice when it does, but the lack of visualization will not hold you back. So once again, don't worry about it. Now, let's break down the action of me turning on that open for business sign and why that is important. In the last episode, we set an intention to call in our guides. So that's my thought. That's the T, the first step in the T formula. We did a little practice of closing our eyes, bringing in fresh energy by breathing in through our hearts, and we did this while smiling. That's the second step. The act of smiling while bringing in the energy through the heart activates our quality control system. We're ramping up positive energy to fuel the thought, which is the intention to meet our guides. Then we use visualization, or if you can't visualize, you just think about it, that's the same thing, to find a place in the 5D where we will meet with our angels and guides. Now, we've already done this. We've established a place, and we've already installed our open for business sign. So we do not have to do it again. We can use our place as the starting off point. Now, all we have to do is turn on the sign, and it automatically activates our intention. Now, remember, think of an intention like an invitation. You don't want to hang on to it. It needs to go out into the universe in order to reach the object of your intention. When we release it, it then becomes a beacon for the universe to manifest. So the act of turning on that sign re-energizes the intention and that positive energy that was behind it. In other words, we've programmed that sign. It is a manifestation of the intention. Let's step back and take another look. Let's realize what we've done. That open for business sign is now a tool for our consciousness awareness toolbox. It is a stepping stone to meet our guides. I actually use the open for business sign as the gateway for all 5D explorations. When my open for business sign lights up, I am ready to explore. Then I use something else for my intentions. And these intentions are usually more specific. So what I do is I use a flare gun. Over the years of communicating with my guides and angels, I have quite a few. But let's say I want to connect with a specific guide. Let's just say white buffalo, for example. So I'll state the intention in a positive manner. I will meet with white buffalo. I don't say I want to meet with him because want indicates lack. I don't want to attract more lack. So I state it in a positive way. I meet or I will meet with white buffalo. Now I can put that intention into the barrel of the flare gun in whatever way I think is easiest. Then I point it up into the sky and I pull the trigger of the flare gun and I watch that smoky trail as my intention shoots off into the universe. And then it explodes in a beautiful starburst. I'm done. That's all I need to do. My intention is set. When that flare gun shoots my intention into the universe, that corresponding starburst now becomes a beacon. This is important here. Set the intention, then release it, let it go. Don't hold on to it. Let it work its magic. And it cannot do that until you release it. I've said this many times. The messengers have told me that the intention becomes an organizing principle to the universe to manifest. So please let it do its job. And again, for those who have difficulty visualizing, at this point, all you have to do is think you're turning on the open for business sign or think you're shooting a flare gun. Those thoughts do the work for you. That's just how the T formula operates. And this is how the tools operate. The majority of my tools came spontaneously through the visions from my messengers. It took me a while, actually quite a while, to realize what the messengers were doing. They were empowering me, showing me the 5D ropes and levers and how to use them. Once I began seeing the world through the lens of energy, I began to appreciate just how empowered I had become. But it's just like buying new clothes. It's easy for our older things to get lost in the closet. So let's find a new place for these tools. We've already established a place in the 5D. Let's add a control panel. You can look around and see if one just develops without you consciously building it. That's what used to happen for me. In fact, each time you return to your place, I make a point to step inside and just spend a few moments of silence, allowing me just to observe, to look around. I look to see what has changed. And I end up seeing more detail than I did before. Perhaps I didn't notice a fireplace in the corner. Now I look and it's like, oh, I can see the mantle. Each time I return, I'll take a look at that fireplace. I'll check out the mantle and I'll see what's been added. Sometimes I notice a door that I had not seen before. It becomes an invitation to explore. But remember, this is your place. So build it like you wish. Find a nook or a cranny to install your dashboard. Maybe you want it front and center, like a hub in the middle of the room. Do you want it in a separate room? It's up to you, whatever you want to do. Mine is a curved panel, a semicircle, where I can sit on a rolly chair or I can stand, but that's not as much fun. It's not as easy to spin in circles. So I sit on my rolling chair, I spin around, but I digress. The important part is I am at the helm and I can reach any tool at any time. Today, I'm going to talk about grouping the tools. I have mine in sections based on the purpose. And this is the beauty of non-physical tools. When we begin to see them based on their purpose, we can use them more efficiently. We take control, and by using our thoughts and intentions, we add to the effectiveness and the power of these tools. Like reading a page from left to right, I start on my left, so I have my tools for protection there. I've spoken about what Bob Monroe called the REBAL. That's an acronym for resonant energy balloon. It's a bubble of light or a swirling vortex of light or energy, and you can build it around your physical body. It actually serves two purposes. It protects you from any low-lying energy, but just as important, if not more so, it keeps your personal energy intact. Have you ever been around people who just seem to drain you? After a conversation with them, you just feel like you need a cup of coffee. You just feel weaker. You feel less vibrant. You literally feel your energy draining from you. Some people have referred to them as energy vampires, and I can see why. Well, this is where the REBAL helps. It protects us from having our personal energy field drained. On my YouTube channel, The Reluctant Messenger, I have a video. You can actually, if you go to that channel, under the playlist tab, you'll find a list that's called Energy Tricks. On the third episode in the Guide to Hands-on Energy Practice, I talk about, for example, using selenite for clearing. And I'm pretty sure this is the episode where I talk about and show how to seal leaks in your energy field in your reball. So check that out. Just like our physical bodies, we need to take care of our energy bodies. So let's take this basic tool, a bubble of light. How can we embellish it? What can we add to it to make it more effective? The reball, for example, can have added power if you're in a situation where you feel like you need more strength. You can use the cage of light. That is something I wrote about in my book. It's a matrix or a cage of light that surrounds us. We can add that to the reball, using it as an added layer of protection to really strengthen your energy field. This is one tool the messengers gave me, but there are so many more. Anything that you can imagine, build it and they will come. But once you build that bubble of light, you can also add a mirror to the outside. That helps maintain privacy. It helps insulate your reball, your energy bubble. But because of that, it also keeps your energy safe and sound for personal use. I use that mirror trick every time I go to the mall, and it really does help. You can also expand that reball and use it around your room, your house, a group of people. You can use it around your city. There are no limits to what you can do. If you're in a situation and you need to have a very intimate conversation with someone, build the reball around the two of you in that conversation. Thoughts, energy, action. We also have a crystalline grid that I talk about in my first book that covers the earth. Now, maybe this is the same thing I'm talking about. It's combining a reball and a cage of light, but it's on a global level. The crystalline grid is empowered by groups of people. But you get the picture. Imagine it and it will happen. Let's take a look at a few more tools of protection. Some of the most obvious are prayer and intention. Again, it's energizing our thoughts into action. And as we gather these tools, let's not stuff them in the bottom of the toolbox or hide them in the closet. Instead, let's find a place for them for easy access on our dashboard. Again, my protection tools are on the left of my dashboard, but put them wherever you want to. Are they front and center? Here's another thing here. You may put them in one place, but then when you return, you may find that they have shifted to another area. That is behind the scenes guidance and action. If they shift for a reason, and I would leave them there. On my dashboard, for example, to represent my reball, I use a large roller ball that's built into the panel. It's like the size of my palm. I mash down on it while giving it a spin. And when I let go of that spinning vortex of energy, the reball, it automatically covers. It's one fell swoop, almost like a giant net that they use in fishing, or maybe think of it as a lasso. But that swirling energy of that bubble of light cascades around me immediately. Because of that, I no longer need to bring the energy up through my feet, up my body, out my head, where it cascades around for a couple more passes. Now I can do it the slow way if I want, and that's good practice to begin with. But that dashboard, in one fell smash and twist, my reball is in place. And if I wish to enlarge my energy bubble, I continue to push on the roller ball, and with each push, that reball enlarges. Isn't this fun? But it's also practical. Let me give you an assignment, a little homework. I'd like for you to think of a couple different tools for protection. They could be completely different from these we've mentioned, or they can be add-ons to a reball. It's up to you. And also, how will they fit on your dashboard? How will you symbolize them? You can share your responses in the comments on YouTube or by messaging me on social media or send me an email. I'm going to stop here with the tools for protection. Next time, we'll review the tools with a different purpose, the purpose of movement. That's the larger category. These help us move more smoothly and more efficiently in the 5D. There's a lot of those, and they're a lot of fun. So until then, I want to thank you for following me, for subscribing, for commenting. And until the next time, I want you to remember to be kind and use your heart to guide you. Until next time, goodbye.